Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and welcome back to part 3 on What If the Dinobots Helped here. Okay, so when we last left off here, we had Sentinel Prime meeting with Longarm Prime, aka Shockwave, who had just revealed himself here, with Shockwave offering him a deal here. Now, this is going to take place instead of Rise of the Constructicons and stuff like that there, and it's going to be called Betrayal Ascension. Let's talk about it here. So, does Sentinel take the deal with Shockwave? Yes, he does here. And again, this is kind of his character here. Sentinel was known for making shady deals with a lot of Decepticons here. Lockdown. And in all honesty, if given the opportunity, I think he would definitely be a Decepticon. Kind of like in Dill Pickle's What If Optimus Saved Alita. So, yeah, I actually do see Sentinel being able to join the Decepticons here. But again, it's a little bit different here. You see, Sentinel orchestrates this masterful ambush on Ultra Magnus here and the High Council. Now you might say, why the High Council in this timeline legendary? Well, it's because of one thing here. They also are a problem for Sentinel ascending to Magnus. And so what Shockwave does here is he lists the help of the Stunticons here. Now the Stunticons are, canon to TFA, but Menasor is not. They do not have the ability to combine. Now, this is what happens, right? Utilizing any of the remaining Decepticons like Blight, Mindwipe, and what's his name? Skybite, excuse me here. Shockwave orchestrates this masterful ambush on the High Council, utilizing the space bridges here to basically sneak in. Now, you might say, why is he using this here? And because, remember, unlike in the original timeline, they never discovered him, meaning they never, discovered that Megatron's, well, they discovered that Megatron's on Earth here, but they don't think that Longarm or that an Autobot spy is among their ranks here, because, again, Wasp Breakout was never orchestrated here, so the space bridges are still operational here. So Shockwave utilizing this to get some of the tougher Decepticons behind enemy lines here and utilizes this moment to basically assassinate everyone here. And well, this is where he catches Ultra Magnus lacking in his chambers here and actually double taps him. The first shot leaves him in the same state he was like in the original story here, in a more crippled like state. However, the second shot kills him here. Now, what does Sentinel do in the situation? Sentinel, Jazz, Blur, Warpath, and matter of fact, let's add Flare Up, Chromia, and Depthcharge, considering they all are canon to, Transformers Animated here. These guys are all the current Elite Guard members, right? So what they do is Sentinel orchestrates this masterful comeback here where, he was just too late to save the day. However, understandably, he is the only Prime left. And so, with that being said here, he is the next Magnus. There's a coronation and everything. Sentinel, having defeated the Decepticons here, has them arrested. However, Shockwave orchestrates this mini breakout here under Sentinel's nose. Or it seems like it's under his nose here, but Sentinel's going along with it here. However, what he does not know is that Ultra Magnus had a failsafe in place here just in case he was to die, and if Project Omega was in jeopardy here. So this is where Jazz actually returns to his quarters, reeling with the sheer fact that, Sentinel Prime just became Sentinel Magnus, understanding that there's a lot of things that this dictator might do, considering the sheer fact that Sentinel... I'm not going to say it. You guys are going to have to guess that one for yourself here, like who he's similar to. But again, with that being said here, Jazz finds a transmission for him in his room here. And so when he touches it, one message is for him, the other one is for Optimus Prime. And so Jazz reads his message. His orders are to get RC as far away from Cybertron as possible. He would never trust Sentinel with the Project Omega codes. And he would never trust Sentinel to really keep Cybertron here. And so this is where Jazz actually takes this initiative to actually get RC to Earth here. And actually uses this opportunity to recruit one more Autobot that he feels like he can trust. That being Depthcharge. Now you might say, wait, why are you adding Depthcharge to the story? And number one, and here's the thing, right? He's a cool character. And in all honesty, I'm glad he was in Transformers Animated. But I definitely feel like he could definitely serve a lot more if we gave him a much more active role in the Transformers animated universe here. So we have Jazz, RC, and Depthcharge making their way towards a private ship here, something that they hope Sentinel doesn't know about here. However, this is where they are greeted by Shockwave and Skybite here. Now, considering Depthcharge here is an active, sea Autobot here, he actually does have some super strength. He should here, considering the fact that he is handling the pressures of Cybertron's own Energon Seas here, patrolling for other Decepticons here along with Sea Spray. So I definitely think he should be able to contend with Skybite, plus it's just a very cool concept. Depthcharge versus Skybite. I mean, come on, work with me here. So with that being said here, he actually makes it very tough here. Meanwhile, Jazz, trying to carry RC here, is able to handle Shockwave here. In all honesty, I do think he should here because of the speed, agility, plus his metallical fighting style. He's able to dismantle Shockwave's cannon, grab it off him, and then smack it into the back of his head, sending the Decepticon tumbling to the lower depths of the, I guess you could say, aircraft station or whatever here. Meanwhile, Depthcharge pretty much just suplexes Skybite off of the platform here, and he and Jazz get RC and take her back to Earth. So what happens at this moment, or what's happening on this Earth, right? Well, without the rise of the Constructicons, the Decepticon attacks have been just becoming, I guess you could say, somewhat dull here. And in all honesty, some of the Decepticons' attacks are just pretty much random at best here, trying to keep the Autobots, I guess you could say, busy, while Megatron is conducting his own plan. Isaac Sumdeck is still captured in this timeline here, because in the sheer fact that, again, Megatron did see his uses here, and still made those carbon fiber cloaking devices or whatever, to actually keep the Decepticon signals underneath his radar. However, construction of a space bridge still needs to be made here, and so I guess you could say he would still want those plans here. However, he is still focused on getting Project Omega, and this is where he receives a transmission from Shockwave that, well, the Autobots are making their way towards Earth, to which this is where Megatron asks, okay, so who are the Autobots? Who did Ultra Magnus trust with keeping Project Omega safe? To which, it's Depthcharge and Jazz, Shockwave says here. Both Autobot elite guards and some of the top tier elite guards here. And they trust each other very well here. So with that being said here, this is where Megatron orchestrates Team Char to go and get them here, leaving Lugnut, Blitzwing, and Starscream with him. Speaking of Starscream, he is on very, very thin ice here. Megatron still hasn't forgotten that betrayal. And so, in any opportunity here that Starscream tries something here, even a little bit of attempt at glazing, Megatron is promptly going to point his fusion cannon at him and actually think about shooting him here. So, with that being said here, yeah, Starscream is on deceptively thin ice here. Because remember, no Allspark shattering or no Allspark fragment, being said scattered everywhere here means that he's not immortal, and that he's never made the Seekers. So they're never around in this timeline here, which I can't say is a bad thing because they really didn't add anything to the story. They would have in season 4, but unfortunately that just never, came about here. So with that being said here, how do the Autobots react to this here? You see, when the Autobots enter the Earth's atmosphere, or when Jazz, Depthcharge, and RC enter the Earth's atmosphere, Jazz sends a transmission hoping that Optimus can hear it. Optimus obviously does hear it, and well, they do meet Jazz and, Depthcharge here at a specific location here. And this is where they are actually greeted by Team Char. The Dinobots, understanding what needs to be done, Optimus simply tells them very simply, take down the Decepticons. To which Grimlock happily obliges here, along with Slug and Swoop, both transforming, or all three transforming into their Dinobot forms, and attacking the Decepticons here. And so this is where basically another battle ensues along with the Autobots here. Optimus and Prowl both get Jazz and RC out of there, while Depthcharge pretty much looks at the Dinobots a bit dumbfounded, and well, Bulkhead has to convince him, hey, I know they're not really natural here, but want to help him out? To which Depthcharge is like, heck yeah, let's do it. And so, engaging with Team Char, we see Depthcharge versus Striker, GRIMLOCK versus Blackout, Oil Slick and Cyclonus versus Swoop and Slug, and, Spitter versus Bumblebee. And during the clash here, everyone keeps, fighting and switching around here. However, GRIMLOCK gets a well-placed stab into Spitter's throat, and the sword goes right through him, killing him instantly here. And so when the Decepticons are distracted here, Slug actually in mid-charge with Oil Slick here skewers him right through the spark chamber and kills him. Again, this is kind of, Oil Slick's own fault here. And well, Megatron just lost 2 Decepticons here. This then forces the rest of the Decepticons to have no choice but to retreat here. And so they have to report to Megatron that not only did they fail to get the Autobots, but they lost 2 members of, their respective team here. So with that being said here, what happens here? Well, Jazz pretty much gives a message to Optimus. And this is where the message plays. Optimus Prime, I now appoint you as acting Magnus for Cybertron. I understand that over the years you and Sentinel have had your disagreements, but believe it or not, Optimus, you have shown to be a far better leader, a far better role model to the other Autobots, and he would actively make Jazz as well a Prime here, considering the sheer fact that, again, Jazz is his most trusted member. And I don't think it made no type of sense here for Jazz to be so high ranking and for him to not be a Prime, if you get what I mean here. So essentially, Optimus would be a Magnus at this point here. And well, Jazz would be, a Prime at this point here. Because again, remember, Prime is simply a title, not a level of power in this verse here. And so with that being said here, this is where Depthcharge actually has something for Optimus, and that is Ultra Magnus's hammer, simply kneeling before him and presenting it to him here. And so this is where Optimus is taken aback here. Everything happened so fast here. His teacher and mentor is dead. His best friend has taken the title of Magnus up for himself without really earning it here. Optimus doesn't even want the title, but he understands what his responsibility has to be, that he was just thrusted in his position here. And so it slowly does begin to overwhelm Optimus in this situation here. However, Alita places a comforting hand on his shoulder and pretty much just, comforts him in this situation here. However, this is where the Dinobots get curious about RC due to her open head. And so GRIMLOCK inadvertently touches a part of her head that not only retracts her, I guess you could say retracts the head together, but actually wakes her up and gives her her memories back. To which GRIMLOCK is like, hi. And then RC pretty much freaks out, with Ratchet having to calm her down as she takes out her swords and tries to swing at him here. To which GRIMLOCK is able to block the first 2 before Ratchet actually intervenes and steps in. So now seeing Ratchet, she actively calms down and wonders what the heck is going on and what's happening. To which Jazz is able to pretty much break down everything that similarly has happened so far, even after the Great War and everything here. To which she says, oh, so they don't have the access codes to Project Omega. Does Ratchet have them? To which Ratchet says, yeah, he has a portion of them, but you still have a decent majority left in you, which is why they had to get you out of there so that the Decepticons could never get those kind of codes here. To which RC, taking a breath and now fully calming down, understands the gravity of this situation here. And so everyone does begin to mingle with each other, all except for Sari. Sari is still upset that her father's been taken away and that the Autobots are really doing nothing about it. However, Optimus has to explain to her that right now they're all going through something here. Your father is still alive. Meanwhile, his father figure, if you will, is dead. And this actually gets Sari, a bit more quieter than the original here. And so, believe it or not, the Autobots now have to deal with this here. However, what's happening back on Cybertron? Well, in his own private quarters here, Sentinel is absolutely, I guess you could say, happy about this here. He's ascended to the level he always deserved here, the level he always should have here. And so this is where he simply states to Shockwave that if he has Project Omega, to which Shockwave says no, he doesn't. To which Sentinel looks at him like, what do you mean you don't have it? Do you understand how much I'm risking right now? The sheriff, you better be glad Ultra Magnus is taken care of. Otherwise, we'd all be in trouble right now for trying to even talk to each other. Why don't you have it? To which Shockwave simply explains everything and says, fine, then he's going to need something else here. He's going to need a upgrade, if you will, here. To which Shockwave says, what are you thinking then? To which this Sentinel Magnus simply states that he's going to require the Power Master program here. They might say, whoa, 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 Legendary. Power Masters, when did this come from? Now, hear me out. This was actually supposed to be a thing in Transformers Animated Season 4 here. And this is where Shockwave simply states, okay, so why do you want the Power Master program? And he says this, it's very simple as to why. He's going to go to Earth himself and get RC back, no matter the means here. So before Sentinel goes through his own Power Master, program and transformation, stuff like that there, he makes a declaration, branding these Autobots as traitors. The likes of Depthcharge and Jazz, two of his most trusted elite guard members, have delivered RC into Decepticon territory, and their new traitor and possible usurper, Optimus Prime. And so, with that being said here, this actually, gets the crowd thinking here. Because again, Optimus was a more trusted member than the likes of, Ultra Magnus. But with everything happening and with how Sentinel orchestrated his, usurpation to power here, everything looks like he is the hero. So they don't doubt him about it here. And so this is where he constructs the, I guess you could say, invention or the upgrades to the Autobots Jetfire and Jetstorm here. So with that being said, they are creating this timeline, and so is Safeguard. However, he wants something else. He wants more power than he was before. And so he begins to ask some of his fellow scientists like Wheeljack and whoever's left here. Again, I can't say Perceptor because Perceptor was part of the High Council, so he's dead in this timeline. So Wheeljack and any other scientist in this timeline here would definitely construct something else here. Using 5 of the newest recruits of the Autobot Academy here, he creates Defensor, the very first combiner. And so he taxes Jetfire, Jetstorm, and even Defensor to not only come with him when he's ready, but to sheer fact that they're going to be taking back the Autobot Trader RC and making sure that they have Project Omega under their control and their control only. So what happens with, Project Power Master or, Sentinel's Power Master armor? Well, believe it or not, he's a bit more upgraded here, but again, he does have some of his own arrogant flair to him. With Sentinel Magnus, or at least with the sheer fact that he does not have Ultra Magnus's hammer here, this does leave him a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess you could say a pickle, if you will here. He doesn't have his own Magnus level weapon, or so you would think here. And so this is where he constructs the Blade of Raceling, basically an upgraded version of his lance here. It's not the same way as, the original Raceling would here, but the title of it here conveys that it would cut down through anything, and this is what that sword is meant for. Accompanied along with his shield here, he also upgrades it to a whole nother level here, not only adding spikes, but adding a kinetic absorption ability that allows him to pretty much absorb energy that it hits and then redirect it right back at his opponent. Basically, think Kratos' shield from God of War Ragnarok, where he's able to simply, absorb all that energy and just bounce it right back at his opponent. So again, nothing too overpowered here, but again, something noteworthy here. And so with that being said, we go back to Earth. Optimus now takes Ultra Magnus's hammer, feeling its power, I guess you could say here, swirl within him here. And he feels something so much more. He feels like he could do anything here, but he still doubts his ability to lead. And so with that being said here, what does Optimus do here? He says that they're going to get Professor Isaac Sumdac back, and then they are going to get Cybertron and make sure that Sentinel hasn't ruined it here. However, before they could say anything here, this is where they actually hear a loud boom outside of their facility, or it's outside their building, and the building shakes here. And so this is where Megatron, Starscream, and Lugnut have come for RC. And that is where we're going to leave it off here, you guys here. Please comment down below, like and subscribe, and share it with your friends here. And let me know if you guys actually liked the inclusion of Depthcharge in this story here. Now, again, if you guys are wondering what I'm going to make of this here, I will be doing something similar to Transformers Cyberverse, where Grimlock and RC go on adventures, fall in love, and then yada, yada, yada. That's going to be the other couple of the team, and then also reinforcing Optimus and Alita's relationship here, because now that Optimus is more, in power here, this is where we actually have a bit more room for both of them to grow together. But hey, that's gonna be all today, you guys, and y'all have a blessed day. Peace.